Howdy, everyone. Howdy, everyone, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Gaming Times podcast. I'm your host, Clayton, and this episode we will be discussing controversial topics this time, but it's only going to be about Afghanistan and other platforms. So, we have been pretty busy not being live for our episodes. This is the second pre-recording. But later down the road, we will be live more often, and I've been wanting to do Jackbox with viewers. I think that would be a really fun thing to do, and do a Fiverr video with you. But we will have to get funding for that because I'm poor because of moving. Moving plans have been chaotic, but it's a lesson that Sarah and I will learn and kick ass at together. I have 2 vehicles, and we will be moving items to the place by ourselves, and then my parents will happily help us move, and I think it's going to be an interesting time, and later down the road we will laugh at it, a learning lesson. It's going to be a good learning lesson, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We have like 2 more weeks, I think, yeah, about 2 more weeks, 2.5, or a week and a half. It's coming by. It's right around the corner.
Howdy everyone, and we are sponsored again by K&S Resale. Check out their store. That shit bussin'.
So, our next topic. Afghanistan has been a huge thing lately, and I know we need to keep politics out of this, but it needs to be stated that this president of the United States, or short for Joe Mama, but for real, he only wanted to up the production on leaving, and so he can take credit. And the fact that how old he is didn't think it through, which will have numerous amounts of casualties. And it's already, we already had a lot of casualties already. A lot of people have been getting killed by this. And it's a ticking time bomb. The way we evacuated was not a plan at all, and it which should have been planned out on handing or transferring power to the Afghanistan army, which that branches out to something else because of the drugs and they're not wanting to do it, but yet they needed to. And a lot of them would have taken over or take control. And to even dare say that we are allies with the Taliban, I want to hear how the veterans of the Afghanistan war and 9/11, how they volunteered after 9/11, think of this. I believe that they're not liking this whatsoever. Like, this is like a slap in their face, how long they have fought for this. Yes, it's been 20 years, but they were trying to prove something. They were trying to fight for the people that have died on 9/11. 3,000 people. Never forget. But yet, people have forgotten. Just in 20-year span. Holocaust is over almost 100 years old now. It's coming right up about 100 years. And that's 80 or 90 year anniversary. But yeah, it's very scary right now. On people just forgetting because they don't want to read the history books or History Channel or anything like that. The Taliban and ISIS don't like each other, so why not buddy up with them? Why not buddy up with the Taliban? Because we can trust them so far. Stated by your president. This terrorist group, yes, we're going to buddy up with them because they have a lot of technology that we handed over. About estimated $500 billion worth of technology of ammo, weapons, and military vehicles like Black Hawks and fighter jets and whatnot. And it makes a lot of sense because I won't get into the threat to the American people. But if another 9/11 happens, and God forbid, I'm not saying if it happens, I hope it does. I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy. But if another 9/11 happens, this will be on his hands. He stated that America has spent trillions of dollars on this war, and yet he is being very hypocritical about it. Because I did my research. I spent like a few hours on Sunday night trying to make sure, because there was going to be fact checkers probably. I'll have everything in the description if you guys are interested in reading the articles in which they are approved. The year of 2019, previous administration put about they put $7 trillion on our debt. $3 trillion of it was that was the lowest that any president has done. And then they had to add another $4 trillion because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But the estimated as soon as 2019, it was $22 trillion that we were in debt. Now in this administration, Now it's $28.43 trillion, and another 3.5 is in the talks, and it's just been passed by the Senate, and they're still trying to pass it still today, and they're still trying to figure out, and it doesn't go to any of the Americans, the American people, the hardworking people. $31.93 trillion and counting. Almost $10 trillion have been passed in 200 days of this president. Only 210 days. 10 trillion, just estimated. 10 trillion in 210 days. This is insane because everything's going to go up. Everything is going up. I work at CVS, and 12 pack of soda used to be about $4 or whatnot for that. Now it is $7.50. We just got another price change for them. Now it's about $9 a pack. I don't know. It's just everything's going up, and people are still not wanting to admit to it. This will hurt our future generation by the dozen. I call it the fall of America. I have relatives that discuss with me that they are disgusted by what he has done and apologize about voting for him. And I replied, "You owe me nothing, but I'm only a messenger, and I'm only going to say this once. This is only the beginning of you all seeing, and I guarantee you it's only going to get worse from here." And the other part I will not state on YouTube. And the other part I will not state on YouTube. I will have, again, the links in the description if any fact checker wants to prove me wrong, or prove that wrong. This part that I'm saying is a disclaimer, and this is stating that I did not mention my opinion, but to present you the facts. There's a little bit of opinion by reading this. Now, to our next subject. Jackbox! Yes, Jackbox is a party game that usually one user owns the game and selects a game mode for the party to play. And the guests or players can play for free with a website that you can go to on their web browser on their phone. And then on the screen of the owner's computer, which I'll provide on here on the screen, like this, pretend the logo is Jackbox, and it'll show a certain logo, so it'll be like a 4-letter keyword or a password, and then you can put your name into it, and you can choose a name, in which of course needs to be appropriate for YouTube. But then we start the game. I love playing Murder Party Trivia and some others, but some of them take a long time, like T-shirt TKO, I think, and another. I'm not really for sure. It's been a while since I played, but I think it's going to be interesting to do it with viewers, because I saw this on a stream a long time ago. Armored Penguin, I'll leave him in the description too. He's a movie maintenance person on YouTube. I really like how he did some editing for certain Star Wars and DC movies. Our other item for our podcast later down the road will be Fiverr, and not only be fun, but we will be giving money to the content creators that show their work to us, and I'll put a twist to our reviews to see if they did better than me, and which they'll probably will, which gives us kind of an original feel to this, and to not copy and paste other creators donating to Fiverr, which I have seen Cold Ones do it a while. They did t-shirts, and then they did Fiverr. They did like skits and animation, which I really like the stop motion, and I used to do stop motion, and I really like doing stop motion. I always wanted to get back into it, just not motivated, but this will probably make me motivated, and I want to. I really like stop motion. That kind of like what Robot Chicken does. I want to do some skits. I always wanted to do a funny skit with animation or stop motion, and I don't know. I used to have for the public eye on YouTube. You can actually see YouTubers playlist, and I had one public, and it was, I think, a stop motion, and it was just multiple videos of how to do stop motion with action figures, kind of like what they do in Robot Chicken, but it was just random YouTuber, and I admired it. I just think it's so interesting in the art that they have, because I was motivated, inspired by Star Wars, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and a couple other well-known holiday movies that were stop motion and or claymation, and I don't know. I just like it because of the time they put into it and the art, and then still to this day it holds up. Like Nightmare Before Christmas, that one still holds up today for the animation. It won a lot of awards for that, and then yet the creator of it, the producer, he's very well known for that because the Caroline and whatnot. And I'll probably do some reviews on those type of movies because I always wanted to do that, because I actually do have an old video on YouTube that I can have the link as well to show you, and also have one from my middle school that I was motivated to do for Pi Day, and it was like March 14th, and we had to do something, so I asked them if I can do a video, so I did a 3.14 video, and it was Star Wars, and it was okay. I'll see if I can try to upload that to YouTube soon. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is OnlyFans. I heard about this, and yes, so before we leave, I have been hearing, like, my YouTube newsfeed, or the recommended for you, is bombarded from OnlyFans. I do not know why, but it's just OnlyFan after OnlyFan. I'm surprised Philip DeFranco hasn't done it, but I haven't watched him in a long time. But there's a lot of people that have been talking about it, and I guess the sexually explicit, like, they're changing it to more be family friendly. And I watched Critical review it, and he's like, I never. When I go on OnlyFans and I hear Gordon Ramsay's going to be on it, I'm not expecting him to cook. I'm expecting to see explicit pictures, you know? It's a weird time. But I did see a meme which I did like, and it says now we're going to actually see waitresses in restaurants again. And around my town, we have at least three stores or restaurants. They're a fast food restaurant and a restaurant as well, like a pizza place and a taco place, but they announced in the newspaper, the local news, that they're going to close early because there's just not enough people to work. I know that one Sunday they had one of the stores had to close early because no one wanted to work. The guy that he comes into my store a lot to put money on his card. He's like, honestly, there's no one to work, so they're gonna have to close early. He was trying to do schedule and no one wanted to come in. And I don't know, we're going to see a lot of that more later down the road. I think it's funny. But at the other side of the coin is I feel terrible for these local businesses because they're trying to survive too, because this is their livelihood, and yet no one wants to work and everybody wants to have everything handed to them. But anyways, that's all I have for this podcast. I know it was short, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you do like what I have put my word in, or the neutral ground perspective of the podcast for the controversy of Afghanistan, please leave a like if you want more of the controversial topics on this channel. I do enjoy talking about politics, but I like to talk in a neutral ground per se, but I want to see different sides of the story. But I understand that it's a very risky subject to get into, because you're either going to get banned or, I don't know, striked or whatnot. So hopefully this all works out, and have a good one, guys.